everybody. Welcome to show number 811, Tuesday the 25th of February, 2025. Julia, hard to believe. It is that far along already. I trust you are well.
I am.
Any hot tips? Any news?
I was reading this morning about a very complicated mechanical invention from the Middle Ages.
The Middle Ages? This is 2025.
I know.
We got Håkan Håkansson on. Clayt Embley mentioned you want to get his email address. Text it to us, Clayt.
Yeah.
We've got a tighter opening to our show, Julia.
Yes, I like it.
And we're going start with our theme song, and then we're going into a new slide called The Starting Line, which is what's happening on today's show. Well, happy Tuesday and happy National Sailor's Soup Day.
Oh, what a good idea.
In the USA. Any idea what Sailor's Soup Day is? With croutons.
No.
Or with crackers. Well, that's what it is today. Fozy Focus. We've got Fozy from Australia to Antigua to Cleveland to New York in the lineup today. Bravo Zulu, last weekend's Royal Yachting Association Dinghy and Water Sports Show out there at Farnborough Airport. Foiling Week in Pensacola has gotten underway this week, and we'll be talking with John Emmett with his latest coaching corner on the importance, Julia, of social racing, not just racing out in the water. You like that?
I do.
Caribbean 600 started yesterday, the RORC 16th edition. It started in Antigua in the usual spectacular Caribbean conditions. Great stuff. AC 38, the Cup Day we'll have, and not much more than crickets in that one. And finally, the last leg, Crosby Lorimer, has a very interesting dockside interview with Cole and Elizabeth at Middle Harbor Yacht Club. And then finally, of course, the day in history, Whiskey Tango Foxtrot, the fantastic Fozy Chat, Julia.
Yay.
And more as we are live from Studio B here at the Beach Street Yacht Club. Let's get going, shall we?
Yes.
I want to thank, again, John Rogers, who did a fabulous job with our radio-controlled racing. And I was pleased to hear him call it radio-controlled yachting.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yachting.
Absolutely.
In the segment he did for us on Friday. It was a very popular segment, lots and lots of views, lots of new people actually who came on to watch that, our RC yachting aficionados, I suppose.
And lots of new information.
Lots of new information, lots of great comments. Thanks again to Super Coach John Rogers, who's the head coach at San Diego Yacht Club and also an RC sailing, yachting, boating expert, and he really filled us in nicely. Thanks again, John. That was Friday's show 810, which brings us to a little bit of a Fozy. Come on, you can say it.
Focus.
You're so polite. You're so genteel. And a Fozy Focus. Friends of Sailing Illustrated. That's what Fozy stands for. Cool people all. We appreciate them very much. And as a result of Friday's show, we had this image in. Do you recognize that image, Julia?
Yes.
Do you recognize the number on the sail?
Yes.
44 is the address
of the New York Yacht Club.
New York Yacht Club, 37 West 44th Street in Manhattan. There is the close-up of the top sides of that DF95, and it belongs to... and that beautiful branding, to Claire. To Claire, her nickname, we have MTM for Magnus the Magnificent, and we have CTB for Claire the Brilliant. That's the name Magnus gave her. Beautiful branding on her DF95. She sent that through. Speaking of Claire this morning, Julia,
yes.
Do you recognize that aerial shot of that facility?
Oh, I should. But I don't.
That is in Middletown, Rhode Island. That's the town just up the island.
Oh, no wonder I don't know it.
Newport, that's Middletown.
Yeah.
That's back there behind is one of the beaches. And that is the esteemed St. George's School, where Claire used to be the music director and the organist, and I'm not sure what all else. And I had the privilege of coaching some hockey there. In fact, one of the coldest ice rinks I think I've ever spent any time in. Well, Claire took that picture, Julia, this morning.
Did she?
As she was flying.
I know.
And she's practicing so that when you charter your plane,
she's ready.
She's ready.
Okay.
With with Jonathan Frank to fly us to wherever we need to go. Next one, that might be a close. We might start with a practice, Julia, to L.A. for Sail GP. That could be the first one. We're going to fly you to San Francisco.
Yeah.
We get in your charter plane.
Right.
And we all fly down to L.A. for Sail GP next month.
Never be the same.
Never be the same. Claire Harrington took that shot. And by the way, St. George's is not usually that non-snowy this time of year. They usually have some snow. Apropos this video I found on their website this morning. This is the private school. A lot of sailors have gone there and graduated from there, including, well, Kenny Reed, Brad Reed, a lot of great sailors, to name two. And they have a very cool stuff going on at that school, all the usual things, including a superb sailing team. This is a video off I found on their website today when I realized that photo that Claire had taken was of the esteemed St. George's School, the Dragons, in Middletown, Rhode Island. Thanks for the photo, Claire. And Julia, do you know who that is? Speaking of Fozy.
Oh, no.
We spoke with her after the show on Friday.
Oh.
She sent us a note, and that's why we called her. She said, "Great show today. Thanks for the information about radio-controlled yachts." That's obviously a shot of her in Barcelona with the trophy earlier, well, not earlier this year, late last year, and that is Julie Ahrens.
Oh, that's Julie
Remember
Ahrens.
we spoke with her?
Yes.
I probably haven't seen a picture of her in the show before.
No,
I don't remember if we.
had no idea what she looked like.
Well, that's what she looks like. She's obviously a very keen and knowledgeable yachts woman.
Yes.
And fan of the America's Cup, and fan of Grant Dalton's, and a fan of this show. We appreciate her very much.
Right.
And remember, we talked on the show during the RC yachting segment about this famous photo of DC, of Dennis Conner sitting on the side of one of his Stars and Stripes with a radio-controlled yacht. And several of you sent that to me afterwards over the weekend, and that Mary Longpree, for which we are very appreciative. Mary sent that. I don't think she took the photo. In fact, if anybody knows who took that photo, I looked around on the internet this morning before I ran out of time to see who might have taken that cool photo. It has something approaching 1,000 on the Facebook page that I found it on, or that I saw it. Something like 1,000 comments, and it's a caption contest. And there are all manner of captions on there, Julia, about DC running, obviously, in a lighter day or in a down day.
Yeah.
I don't know. Somebody will know when and where that was taken. Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Calling all informers.
Yep. All of our Super Fozy and beyond. Dennis Conner with an RC. What kind of boat is that? I can't really tell what the logo is on the sail. Speaking of Fozy, Super Fozy, you know who that is?
Yes.
Who is that?
Pedro.
That is Peter Stevenson, a.k.a. Pedro Foiling Sailor, and he is our Jolly Swagman of the week. Remember we were talking about him having his swag and going out to be in the outdoors in the outback for a while. Well, he sent this picture, and he said, "Here's my swag, Tom, where I slept like a log every night when he was out in the bush last week." Ed Worley thinks Phil Ewell took that in Hawaii when Stars and Stripes were training in Hawaii leading up to the 87 Cup. Could be. John Schaefer thinks the same.
I buy it then.
Could be. So that's Peter Stevenson in his swag. He's a Jolly Swagman.
If there ever were a Jolly Swagman.
If there ever were. That was the correct word. Not was, but were.
That's correct.
You are so correct, Julia. Now, do you know who that is? Not the guys in the background, but the guy whose neck we're looking at.
Oh, no.
Alex Kent is asking, Pedro, what's your bushcraft kit?
Oh.
Julia?
Yes.
That is indeed Peter Stevenson. Yet again, he finished fourth in the Aussie Nationals in the ILCA 4, the smallest version of the ILCA small sail area that John Emmett, as you may remember, has been promoting.
Correct.
He thinks that's really going to be good for the sport the more ILCA 4s we get going. Peter sailed in the ILCA Aussie Nationals that finished over the weekend, and he finished second overall in the ILCA 4. So bravo Zulu to him.
Absolutely.
And of course, who do you think won the ILCA 6s?
Oh gosh, wouldn't guess.
You wouldn't know it that John Emmett, despite some of his physical issues, he finished first in the ILCA 6 Aussie Nats. So bravo Zulu to him. And then he did an cool interview with a couple of the top people in that event and sent it to us, not by way of his regular report. We'll play that in a few minutes.
Day 4, and today we spent most of the day going downwind, which after yesterday, for a lot of sailors, was a welcome relief. There were tough battles in all the different classes, and there's some very tired sailors packing up and ready to go home now. It's been an amazing event. Thank you to all the sponsors, all the organisers, because events like this just wouldn't be possible without you. Wow, final day at the Australian ILCA Masters Championships, and personally I've got quite mixed feelings. It was absolutely amazing regatta, but my body's quite pleased it's all over. Now, you're never meant to ask leading questions, but how fantastic were the conditions today?
Yeah, we had some strong stuff and some light stuff, and we had the swell coming in and a chop on top of that, so it was terrific. Downwinds were epic, and it was a lot of fun.
And actually, we had far more downwind than upwind today compared to yesterday. What did you think about that?
The courses were a little shorter, which was better than yesterday, and the downwinds were great. Awesome battle with James.
Well, this is why I've got you both here. So if you can introduce yourself and tell us what category you are. We can see we've got the little sticker there, but for the folks at home?
Michael O'Brien, and I'm just aged in to be a great grandmaster.
So what age is that?
65.
65, that's something to aspire to.
James Mitchell, great grandmaster. I've been in for a couple of years.
And just tell us about, because it went right down to the wire. We've got 3 different fleets racing here, so it's quite hard to keep going. But I saw you guys battling, because there's always the occasion when the fleets cross.
Yeah, we battled all weekend, so and it was very close today. Managed to get Michael on the last race, which was very pleasing, particularly because I caught him downwind, which I don't normally do.
So why is that?
I don't know, just got in the rhythm with the waves, and nice by the lee, and it wasn't so strong that you had to be safe. You could really throw it around.
Push it.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's a good top tip for people at home. If you want to go fast, you need to push it. You were really pleased with your performance yesterday in conditions which possibly not normally your favourite.
Yeah, it was a bit out of range for me yesterday, a bit strong, and to hang with James was really pleasing. Today I thought it was going to be a bit lighter, which I thought would be more my conditions. And
I think I said something over breakfast about not don't wish any weather conditions.
Yeah. Well, I actually was leading, but James did an epic comeback and took the win from behind, which is a fantastic way to win. So congratulations to James.
Yeah, well, I'm really pleased to have both. And I just have to say, for folks home, it's just been so welcoming here in Australia. So be sharing with it. And James done so much organisation.
John. Great. Fantastic.
I don't think John's having any fun there, Julia, huh? I wonder how much longer he and Lily are there. Alistair's probably ready to kick them out.
Oh, I know.
Huh?
Probably.
Get rid of them.
Yeah.
They've been there, I think, the better part of 4 weeks now, haven't they?
Have they?
Yeah. I'm sure they're having a ball. I'm sure Alistair is. Alistair's on here, so he can tell us. Speaking of people that are on here,
Yeah.
Håkan Håkansson thinks they may have filmed part of High Society at St. George's School.
Kidding.
I think that's what he means. There's Alistair. Good day, Tom, Julie, and the Fosey sitting here at breakfast in Melbourne with John. Speaking of the Devils.
Uh-huh.
And they're not devilish. So I wonder if Claire, who's on now, she was struggling to get herself in front of her phone or someplace where she could watch the show after landing her plane in Newport, taking that photo for us. And I also just want way back up. I want to note that Håkan Håkansson says that he bought 3 DF95s for Christmas. Schaefer checking in, Captain Jack from Lake Geneva in Wisconsin. He's traveled over. I think his parents are in Lake Geneva. He's normally hanging out around Annapolis. Jeff Ogle asking, sounds like the AC isn't a thing. Stay blessed. Blessed, everybody. And Blake Middleton's up there, a little bit north of Lake Geneva, up in Minnesota. Alistair's wondering, he's saying, surely Pedro is too big for an ILCA 4. I don't know about all that.
Wasn't it an ILCA 2?
No, it was an ILCA 4.
Ah.
There's no such thing as an ILCA 2. There were 4, 6, and 7.
Okay.
Bravo Zulu John, Commodore Adkins is saying, and Alex Kent is saying, I'm envious that the Aussies are in summer, still warm in San Carlos, California. Okay, we'll stay warm. J. Frederick Bland saying the Ilka 4 is painfully slow. It's a painful size. OK Dinghy, which he, of course, I think he's the national secretary of the OK Dinghy class here in the U.S., is better ergonomics and equal in speed to the Ilka 7, the big laser, if not a touch faster, and good for 40 to 100 kilogram sailor size.
Wow.
Baton, yeah, I wondered about that too, Baton. Kennan, never heard of a race course described as more downwind than upwind. And John has definitely invaded Oz. Ted Ryman is saying, great interview, indeed, indeed, indeed. Blake Middleton is saying, it's crazy to think he'd be a grandmaster too over age 65, where he's still able to race. And he, of course, is struggling with some health challenges, but he's doing okay. Blake is, and it's nice to see you on again, Blake.
Indeed.
So let's see what else we have by way of FOSI, Julia, and that is to say that this Friday we have Mr. Dr. Andrew McIrvin coming on. He's going to fill us in on what has been going on in Antigua. I believe he has left Antigua and has flown back now to, or is in the process maybe today of flying back to London. He'll join us from London on Friday. We'll talk about the Caribbean 600, offshore racing in general, including and especially the International Maxi Association Racing, of which he is the Secretary General, esteemed Secretary General.
That's a keeper photo of him.
Yeah, and he doesn't like when I use it because it's several years ago, and he was bearded, as you can see, and that's obviously he's just rounded Fastnet Rock. But I love the photo. I agree with you, Julia. And he's also going to give us the latest on the 2025 Admirals Cup, which is booming, going better, I think, than even the RORC hoped or expected. And Andrew, of course, is the chairman of the advisory committee for the revived Admirals Cup. So bravo Zulu to him and the RORC. Chris Exley saying it's always great to hear from Mr. Doctor.
Yes.
And that is for sure the case. By the way, that's a photo of him. I'm not sure he knows I have that. It's a photo of him in Antigua in the last 3 days, maybe over the weekend. And on his shirt, Julia, you can't really make it out. It says Secretary General, International Maxi Association. But do you recognize that shirt? That's from the
Stag Cruise.
Stag Cruise. Ding, yeah. Well done, Julia. That's from the Stag Cruise. I think a couple of years ago. Okay, enough applause for all that.
Yeah.
And finally, another FOSI will be our guest on Tuesday, the 4th of March. Andrew Dolly DeVola is going to preview the JJ for us. He is one of the commentators, as it turns out. This picture, I think I ran 3 shows ago when he had just finished third in the slalom, the Windsurfer Nationals in Australia, the slalom class, and he finished third.
Wow.
And, at his age, and he's not even that old, but he's had a couple of health things too. One of the most popular, I think, FOSI in the world.
Yeah.
I mean, when he came back to the beach, he was widely regaled, if that's the right word. He even got a kiss from one of the blokes. That's how popular Andrew Dolly DeVola is, and especially after finishing third in the Windsurfer. I think it was the Nationals. Alan Long says that one hears Cole Brower may be attempting the Fastnet this year. Yes, I believe that's true, Alan. I have a video, an interview of her and Elizabeth from the Middle Harbor Yacht Club in Sydney at the end of the show in the final legs. And that's an interesting interview. But I believe, she's teamed up with our German friend who's represents Yacht Club de Monaco now, the Yacht Club Monaco from Hamburg, and that is
Boris Herman.
Well done, Julia. Well done. Alistair Murray of World Sailing and mother of Max Paul. The woman in the photo with Dolly is Sarah Kenny. That must have been the previous. There.
Yeah.
Okay, nice. Thanks, Alistair. Much appreciated. And hi, Al, can you please send me a picture of the FOSI meeting picture? John, I can send that too. That's the FOSI meeting from a couple days ago, from the Friday show, I guess, that we ran. I've got that, and maybe Alistair can send that to you. If not, John, ping me, and I'll send it to you after the show. Our most popular FOSI, I think, certainly one of the most, Dolly DeVola, and he will be our guest on the 4th of March, previewing the JJ. The Sydney Harbor 18, the Sydney 18, the skiffs.
Skiffs.
their intergalactic championship. Okay, we got a Bravo Zulu or two here. Cool stuff going on in our sport as always, but I want to highlight the RYA's dinghy show that took place this past few days, wrapped up, I guess, either Saturday or Sunday at Farnborough at International. That's that airport. I went to an air show there one time with Ron Dennis, when I was doing Formula One, and he was the head of McLaren. He took me out there to that. Mm-hmm. I think Farnborough still has one of the two big air shows along with Paris and maybe Dubai, but Blake Middleton is saying Julia is always on top of the sailing world, of course.
I wish
She's
they were.
Good. She's sharp as a tack. We're about to celebrate your 85th next month.
Yep.
We might have a little celebration here on the show, Julia.
Uh-oh.
We might. But this is a cool event and a loud audio track. The RYA's
We have
Dinghy
so
and Water
many
Sports Show.
ex-colleagues, we have so many ex-students, and it's an opportunity to re-engage with them, but also to meet new members of our community, really.
The show is, for me, the biggest toy store you could ever imagine. Around every corner, there's a boat that I'm interested in, and I love just the excitement and the feel of the show as well.
I think there were just lots of different stands, lots of great brands. We've got a small dinghy ourselves, looking at the bigger ones here. It's really quite exciting.
So this is my first time ever at the ROA show. There's a massive buzz, kind of bumping into all sorts of people that I've met from all around the country and all around the world. So yeah, it's a great place and I'm really impressed.
You wonder why the sport booms in the UK, but there must be other events like this. I mean, the closest thing I suppose we have is the In the Water show in Annapolis, Columbus Day weekend, in October. Pindar Andrews on saying it was a great event, buzzing with visitors and exhibitors. Mm-hmm. And I haven't been. I've never been to the one out in Farnborough. I'm trying to remember. I was that used to be held at Alley Pally. You know where Alley Pally is?
No.
Julia. See, I'm more of an Anglophile, a Britophile than you are. And I'd spent a lot of time in the UK, of course, having lived in Europe for 20 years and back and forth to London almost every other week for meetings at McLaren or elsewhere. Alley Pally is Alexandra. Is that how you say it? Alexandra Palace, which is another event center. And I believe the dinghy show used to be there. And I think that's where I went to it, but I can't remember. I'm too old, Julia.
Yeah,
Gordon Smith saying Alexander Palace. Was the dinghy show there, gang? Our British friends must know. Once upon a time. So did you may have seen, Alexandra. Oh, I was right, Gordon Smith.
Aha.
Oh, man. It's much easier to fly private into Farnborough than Alley Pally. Yeah, since Alley Pally's not exactly an airport, but Farnborough is. This lady, you may have seen a snippet of her on this previous video. By the way, the next one is February 21, 22, next year, 2026. And maybe we'll get your jet going, Julia, and we'll go over for that.
Good idea.
You chartered that jet, and Emmett is confirming, yes, it used to be at Alley Pally, Alexandra Palace. But the next year is back out there at Farnborough, and so there's a lot more space out there, a lot easier for parking and so on, from memory. But the lady, there was a bit of a snippet of this windsurfer who is claimed to be the fastest woman in the world. Have a look at this video of her.
Hi, I'm Jenna Gibson. I'm going to be doing a talk later on about my windsurfing speed world record that happened in November and the whole journey around that and the whole trip. I've always loved racing and I've always loved going fast, but speed sailing in particular is just a whole level of thrill, and nothing beats it. The adrenaline rush is immense. The beauty of windsurfing is that they can take you all over the world. So hopefully just share that love and inspire people to get into the sport. My next event is the Speed World Championships in April, which I'm hoping to win, but we'll see. Then I've got a whole season of racing, and then at the end of next year I hope to go back to Namibia and improve on my world record from this year. So this is my first time ever at the ROA show. There's a massive buzz, kind of bumping into all sorts of people that I've met from all around the country and all around the world. So yeah, it's a great place and I'm really impressed.
So that's a video that the RYA produced from the show last week or last weekend. And I don't know the lady, I've never heard of her, frankly, but she looks and sounds very cool. And of course, she was impressed having been at the show for the first time, she said during the previous clip. Now, one of the things they did there, I got to show you this. One of the things they do there is they have every class as they're promoting themselves. Where's J. Frederick Bland when the OK Dinghy class needs him? And this was a contest in a cadet called Hoist, Set, Jibe, Drop. And they time you. They can put you up in it. There's a little servo. Look at the servo when I run the video here on top of the rudder. So there's the tiller into the servo, and when they pull the tiller this way, the boat turns on the whatever the frame is, that the turntable that it's on.
Yeah.
And there's a fan behind it, so it gives you some sense of actually turning the boat in relation to the wind.
Ah.
It's very cool. And they time you doing a spinnaker set, jibe, and drop. And I'm not sure the ladies would have satisfied the match racing rules. As you'll see, they rushed through this, but they barely did beat the boys. They're being timed by one of the RYA people there. Watch this. They never got the kite filled. Never got it filled again after the pole they've jibed. But look at how cool that servo is. There, it's sort of filled. And then they douse. And turn around. How'd we do? There's the stopwatch. We won! I mean, how cool is that?
Yes, that's very
We've
good.
seen similar things at, boat shows here and there, but it's it's obviously something special in the sport, and I don't know if there's anything like it. Tell us in the chat, if you would, please, if there's anything else like that anywhere in the world.
Yeah. It's a neat gadget.
I don't know, especially something that's focused on small boats, on dinghies, and on windsurfers and kites and so on.
Yeah.
Most of the windsurfer speed records take place in Namibia. Yes, and she said in the video she's headed back there late next year when apparently that's the best time, flat water and breezy conditions. She's going to try to beat her own record. That was the windsurfing lady, not these two younger ladies that just apparently won the hoist, set, jibe, and drop competition at the RYA's dinghy and water sports show this past weekend. Practical Boat Owner, I found that on their Facebook page, and actually Ed Worley sent it to us via Ed, so thank you, Ed, very much for sending that cool video. Short, brief video, but cool stuff. Now, also, we talked about this on the foiling show that John organized the panel, for which John organized the panel a week or so ago. And that foiling week is now underway in Pensacola, the U.S. version of what's been going on in Europe. It's been here once or twice before, but big deal. And here is the video. Bravo Zulu to them. It's underway, as I said, in Pensacola on the panhandle of Florida. Is the video going to start, or do I have to push the button again, Julia?
Just so excited about it. It's really a great opportunity for us to grow boating and sailing.
Foiling Week Pensacola, which is now upon us, the largest multi-class hydrofoiling festival in North America, with boats and boards. The waterfront is covered, 2 epicenters, plus a race village for public engagement. Nothing like it in the history of North America.
So it's going to be great.
There's our Super Fozzi Luca Rizzotti on the right, on the far right of that shot. That's underway in Pensacola. That's their first video that I've seen, and if they produce any others, we'll of course run them on Friday's show. This week, the North American Foiling Week underway in Pensacola. What are we celebrating today, Julia? Remember I said in the show notes, the Sailor Soup Day?
Okay.
This is the Sailor Soup. It's National Clam Chowder Day, at least here in the USA.
Those don't look like clams.
Well, they're not. They're croutons. They're not even croutons. What do you call those? They're
yeah, they are.
No, they're not. Technically, they're not croutons. They're crackers. Those little
yeah. Oyster crackers.
Yes, oyster crackers. Shall I play the applause button again for you? No, I don't think. Chris Exley, Clam Chowder Day. Yes, it's like a warm, creamy ocean hug for the taste buds, rich with the essence of the briny deep. I mean, how this is so appropriate for a sailing show. Bringing comfort in every spoonful.
When it's good, it's really, really good. And when it's bad.
Well, you know, you have to put a little bit of something in it. Dry vermouth or Marsala. You got to put something, a cooking sherry, not cooking sherry, a little bit of good sherry in it. You know, that helps it, even if it's not so good. Of course, if the clams are bad, it's never, you're going to have a bad stomach after that.
I know.
Now, I guess it's more, this is New England clam chowder. The white
really sounds good right now.
The white stuff is, well, they've got a pretty good bowl of it over at St. Francis.
Do they?
Yeah, they have New England clam chowder. And what's the red clam chowder called? Where's Claire Harrington when we need her? Manhattan clam chowder. Supposedly, the oldest restaurant in the USA is in Boston, oldest continuous, because I know the White Horse Tavern claims in Newport, Rhode Island they are. But this is one of the most famous places in the U.S., if not the most famous place for clam chowder, at the Union Oyster House in Boston. Chowder dates back as early as 1795, when chowder was originally made as water-based fish soup and various thickness featuring onions, potatoes, and carrots, whatever the chef had in the kitchen. The origins of this kind of stew are said to have begun with the French and the Nova Scotians and British, as it was a commoner's dish during the 1700s or so. I don't know if I got this from Days of the Year or Wikipedia. I guess Days of the Year. Crackers and croutons are usually added as a thickener, and it was just around that time when clam chowder started popping up as they used too many pops in that sentence, a popular version within the Boston area. By 1836, clam chowder became a staple for sailors, as it was another way to make a constant diet of fish palatable.
Yeah.
Most were then a creamy white soup, and I think they mean dairy here. I didn't that little phrase, as a dairy, as a dairy, later on became a more popular addition to the soup in cooler regions where milk animals flourished.
Yeah.
There was somebody's typo there. Ye Old Oyster House, yum yum. Don Lunabo seems to know that. Chowda. Yes, thanks, Clark Chapin. You got to pronounce it correctly. Yeah, there's Ghirardelli here in San Francisco, and actually the chowder's not bad at St. Francis. Now, at this same Union Oyster House, it is said that JFK, a sailor in his own right, super sailor, has had his own booth up, and it's now been it's commemorated, dedicated, thank you, as such, upstairs at the Boston's Union Oyster House, the Kennedy booth, where on Sundays he used to go up there and read the Sunday paper with a bowl of clam chowder.
That sounds good to me.
But where's the best clam chowder in the world, Julia? Not here, not at this Union Oyster House, I guarantee you. It's here on Bannister's Wharf in Newport, Rhode Island. Do you recognize the place on the left, Julia? The best clam chowder is there. They don't even like to give out their recipe. It's so special.
Right.
The Black Pearl, Bannister's Wharf, right next door to the Clark Cookhouse. And down there at the end through that little building is where the 12 meters were docked back in the Ted Turner era. Courageous and so on. And that wharf was swarming with people who'd try to get down there and see Turner when he docked out or docked in. And in the meantime, stop at the Black Pearl there on the left for a bowl of chowder or more. Had a pretty good burger, too. The Pearl Burger was darn good. It still is. And Clark Cookhouse, which is the famous Sailor's Bar in Newport, all there on Bannister's Wharf. But the recipe for their famously good clam chowder is not normally available. However, Sailing Illustrated has the recipe. I'm not going to play the whole video, but here it is.
Here from the Black Pearl, making Black Pearl clam chowder.
That's right, Will.
That's what we got going on. We're all about the chowder this weekend and everything else because of the chowder cook-off going on. And you have your recipe. You're an award-winning chef. You're not just a chef.
And an award-winning chowder.
An award-winning chowder, too. So we get a lot of awards. Let's go over the ingredients so everybody knows what we have.
Yeah, well, there's going to be two distinct different steps. We're going to make a base first, and that's going to be sauteing the onions and the seasoning with the potatoes, the two different starches, and the ground quahogs.
Right.
We chop that up first and put the juice in, and that gets cooked for about a half an hour and then gets chilled down, and then gets cold mixed with chopped sea clams, cream, butter, dill, and in the Commodore's room, we throw a little dry vermouth in there.
Oh, nice.
Dry
okay.
vermouth.
Just for a
Je
little.
ne sais quoi,
I got it. Two different types of clams you're using today, right?
Two different clams, quahogs or ocean clams, and then sea clams, which are the big clams you see on the beach.
Right.
And these are pre-chopped and fresh, and they have to go in last minute, second step.
Okay. Now, because there are two different types, is there a different taste between the two different types?
Yeah, these are tougher. They have more muscle to them.
Right.
Have big flavor. That's why we chop them fine or grind them. So you have two different.
Okay, enough of all this. But quahogs, you know what quahogs are, Julia? They're Rhode Island.
Yeah.
That's what
I keep thinking of Pismo Beach because we used to go dig clams at Pismo
Here
Beach.
on the California coast.
Yeah.
Did you have clam chowder there?
Sure.
Well, Steve Atkins says truly the best. I'm not sure he's talking about, I guess he is talking about the Pearl, and Claire Harrington recognized it. Clayton Embley is saying the best chowder is in his kitchen, Julia.
I believe.
The best chowder is in his kitchen. Okay, enough of that video. Yeah, Hawkinson wants to know if JFK, along with his paper and clam chowder, if he had Bridget Bardot. He says on that table, Julia. What kind of a comment is? Does that deserve a finger wag?
Not necessarily.
Knowing what? Okay, who's this? Sohail Latif. We got to get rid of that person, Julia. They're interrupting our show flow here. Block user on Facebook. Okay, I just did. Clam juice. The toughest part is squeezing those clams to get the juice out. Mark Holland. Boy, a lot of experts here. Josh Tozo is telling us that, the road show makes its Sailing Illustrated debut. Love it. My friend is the co-host, not the one on this clip. That clip's kind of old, Josh, so I hope your friend's still with the show. It must be contemporary. Must be good. It looks good, though.
Yep.
I'm going to have some clam chowder sooner than later, Julia. What else are we celebrating today? I couldn't resist. Any idea?
Peanut clusters.
That's close. That's close. It is National Chocolate Covered Nut Day. Do you like chocolate covered nuts?
Sometimes.
And you can make all sorts of jokes out of that, but experience a taste sensation like no other with the perfect combination of rich, creamy chocolate and crunchy, savory goodness, Julia.
Yes, dear.
And we have some, again, courtesy of none other than Clayton Embley.
Ah.
Huh?
Okay, the brittle.
Actually, I took a picture of it so you could see it up close.
Yep.
Huh?
Yep.
I took a picture. There is bourbon brittle.
Aha.
And it's not for those who don't have allergy problems, especially nut. This product may contain any known or unknown allergens, including, but not limited to, milk, egg, tree nuts, wheat, peanuts, fish, shellfish, and soy. So
yeah,
if you've got allergies, maybe not. But Julia?
Yes?
Andrew Dolly DeVola is saying the hot chocolate can burn your nuts. Now that dessert, come on, give him a finger wag, a two-finger wag. I wonder why you gave him two, Julia.
Because it was more convenient.
Now, courtesy of Buffalo Trace.
Yeah.
And courtesy of Clayton Embley, in his care package the other day came not only those chocolates.
Yes.
But here, you've got to open this up. This is bourbon brittle.
All right.
And we got to taste that on National Chocolate Covered Nut Day. Having turtles, directly out of the turtle. I'm not a big fan of turtles for some reason, but if you
used to be.
If you can open that up,
yeah, that's going to be good.
How decadent, Alan Long is saying. Can you get into that? There you go.
Of course.
Hold it up so we can see it on your camera 3. You're making a big deal out of this. My
Oh, I
first
am.
finger wag. Thanks, Julia. I'm honored. Dolly DeVola likes that I got a finger wag. Clay Embley himself is saying, put some bourbon brittle on your forehead and your tongue will beat your brains out to get to it.
Except I'm not so sure I can break it.
Yeah, you can. I don't know. Uh-oh. Now it's going to be really embarrassing if I can't break it.
There you did.
Okay, and I got two pieces. Here's the big piece for you. Bourbon brittle. I wonder how much bourbon's in this.
No. Not much.
Oh. I'm going to have to get
Keep teeth intact.
new fillings for my teeth.
I know.
I'm not going to be able to talk for the rest of the show. My goodness, yum, yum. That's a little switch from pouring bourbon cream into your...
It is.
It's back there on my back table somewhere. Do you want some bourbon cream too? You do, really. Bourbon brittle. It's National Cover Your Nuts with Chocolate Day.
There we go.
It's a sad day when the U.S. can't defend the Balkans, but is focused on brittle. Well, this show doesn't defend the Balkans. Okay, Julia, we're also... I can't talk. We're also celebrating all the FOSI, the Super FOSI, the patrons and beyond. We appreciate it very much. So I got the bill for the VPN. It auto-renewed.
Oh, yeah?
And it took one of my checking accounts beyond the minimum. I thought, what happened? What is this? And it was some web Clever Bright or something I'd never heard of. And okay, I know that I had it. So the VPN, which we use from time to time, especially when we're doing watch parties, auto-renewed yesterday. That's why we appreciate those of you who do give us a few bucks a month to keep our studio intact. Broken Teeth Illustrated. Are there any dentists? We need dentists. Who's the dentist?
Yep.
Here in the studio, thank you all for supporting us. We appreciate very much your support, especially those who give us a few bucks a month so we can pay the VPN recurring annual.
That's why you didn't answer my question about should I get it?
What, a VPN?
Yeah.
You don't need a VPN. Only if you're producing something. Only that, or if you're doing something you don't want the government to know about, but they'll still find out because I'll tell them. Or Elon Musk will. Honored to keep helping SI. Yes, Blake Middleton, we appreciate your contribution very much, as we do all the others. And by the way, apropos what Magnus the Magnificent has been pounding the table on, John Emmett has been pounding the table on, and we're going to continue to do it. We're going to do everything we can do to get parasailing, and notwithstanding World Sailing's criticism, because they do not seem, at least the president, does not seem to be too focused on this, too enthusiastic, as Magnus has reported again in his blog on Substack, the Rule 69 blog. But getting parasailing reinstated for Brisbane 2032 is a goal of this show. It's a goal of Julia's and mine, and we hope you all will share that. Indeed, we hope that you will do everything you can do to convince your national authorities, national sailing authorities, and beyond, and including and especially in Australia, because the way this is going to work is the Brisbane Olympic Organizing Committee, the local organizing committee in Australia for Brisbane, needs to say, "Oh, that's Julia. You like that? That's coming through on your mic. It's good."
Sorry.
No problems. It is good. I'm still sucking it off the back of my back teeth. You got to convince, and Alistair's going to lead the charge. I'm sure others of you will as well, to convince the organizing committee at Brisbane 2032 to put parasailing in as a demonstration event. We've lost at the World Paralympic Committee, whatever that's called, and we've lost really at World Sailing, although they need to get on this too.
Yeah.
And we all need to work to convince the Australians to put it in 2032 as a demonstration event. And I can tell you, I'm very pleased to tell you, Julie, you know this, that Magnus the Magnificent is working on Grant Dalton that maybe we might have a Paralympic event in the next America's Cup.
That would be good.
Women's event, youth event. That all came up on our show. That was an idea that several people suggested, including me here on the show. Friday show will feature Turkish taffy. That will really show down the idle chat. Parasailing is not a profitable product according to World Sailing. We don't have to worry about profit. We have to worry about some things that may lose money that do great things for our beloved sport and others.
And people who can't do it otherwise.
Exactly. Julie, you need to wear that scarf more often. It adds color, and it kind of balances out all that color, that big splash of color we have behind me. Yes, we can. Brisbane 2032. Please help us support that. And we appreciate the push that we got from any number of you, including Magnus, including John Emmett. And we get now John Emmett's report from down under in the coaching corner. He's still there. And he was walking at at that same yacht club that was hosting the ILCA's Aussie Nationals. And a cool video, as I said in the show notes, about social sailing, indeed social racing.
All right.
Hi, Tom, Julia, and all the Fozy. So I'm still here at the Australian ILCA Championships. It's been a huge amount of fun so far, and I'm not sure if you can hear it in the background, but the band has just started to play. Now, the social side of these events is incredibly important, and it's probably the reason for an awful lot of people why they come. Because after all, not everybody can win. In fact, by definition, only one person can win. So we see the full spectrum of people, the people who've come for the racing and the championship, and the people who've come for the social. But actually, there's no reason why people can't do both. And that's what makes sailing such a wonderful sport. Now, ILCA sailing, I'm biased. It's a pretty tough day at the office. I actually got cooked on the second day where we had really high temperatures, and then that wind is going over hot land is really very hard to read. But actually, when it's difficult, I think that's probably what makes it the most fun. What's nice with the Masters events is a lot of people bring the other halves. In fact, actually, I would probably really like to see more female Masters, because we've made a lot of progress in recent years with having female youth sailors, but I hope that can go through the entire sport, because there's no reason in sailing why it can't be 50-50 participation. I think in terms of the ILCA class specifically, the way we achieve this is trying to promote the ILCA 4, because that size of rig, to me, is the most appropriate for the majority of women, especially Asian women. So Lily was 68 kilos when she won Olympic gold in quite a windy week in Weymouth. She's now around 54, as you'll see, even though she's wearing lots of offshore clothing. She's a very skinny Lily, unlike me. So that's probably something I need to work on. But this social aspect, it's so important. And of course, there's no reason why you can't do both, sail hard and enjoy that side of things. And at the World Championships, we actually have a lay day, so it's a day when we don't race. Not a reserve day, it can't be used for racing, although there's mixed feelings on that, but so people can really enjoy all the other après sail stuff which is going on. So this is Western Port Yacht Club, and it's been off the beach launching, as you can see from here, so we can all get in and out together. And I've got to say, probably the most difficult thing for me is pulling the boat up the loose sand every single day. But if you see, everybody's here, ready for a wonderful evening, and I'm going to go and join them. So sail fast, sail safe, and have fun.
Look at these guys. All dressed in white. One's got a captain's hat on. At the Western Port Yacht Club, but cool stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, this is what the sport's about,
Oh,
right?
yes, it is.
Awesome. Great stuff. I always thought that lay day was a different thing. Well, we have lay days and reserve days, and a lay day is off.
Yeah.
That means no racing, right?
Yeah.
It's always meant no racing.
Whatever.
And a reserve day is a day on which racing might get used if you've missed some racing, or you think the weather, you might even, looking forward, decide that the weather's going to turn bad, and you better get some racing in today on the reserve day, because prospectively,
yes,
the weather forecast is not so good. Nice report as usual, John. Many thanks. Much appreciated. John Emmett, you were going to say?
John and Lily, because Lily was probably doing photography.
Looked like she was doing the photo. Either that or another Ilka sailor probably that John put the press on. The gang press, John Emmett sailing it to the front of the fleet for our show number 811 on this Tuesday, the 25th of Feb. One more show in this month, and then, oh, Julia, my favorite time of the year, the switch to daylight savings time.
Oh, not.
Yes, early March.
Really?
Yes, really. And hopefully the U.S. is coming around to where we're going to pick one or the other, let the states decide if they want to. I mean, we have some states now that don't switch. Hawaii, Arizona, half of Indiana, and the sooner we get to that, the better. But I won't start that rant quite yet.
No.
Okay. Julia, I just discovered here during that last video.
Yes.
The thing to do is to suck on this.
Yeah.
And then it doesn't get stuck to your teeth. Then have a
hot coffee.
I just let it slide into the coffee.
Oh, that's a good idea.
And let it flow. Oh, great stuff. Clayton Embley is taking over the victualization, if that's the word, the food and beverage for the show. He and the Fishbacks. Thank you very much. And let's check into what is our feature today, which is a superb event that the RORC is running, the 16th edition thereof. And Blake Middleton agrees, switch to daylight savings time, then leave it there. Well, I don't care what they do. Let the states decide if they want to be on daylight time or standard time, and then leave it. I don't care, but the switching back and forth drives me crazy. And a lot of you
got to
as
be
well.
more flexible.
I'm not very flexible.
I know.
Huh? And all of our international audience gets confused. The Southern Hemisphere, Northern Hemisphere.
But they change times.
I know. They're smarter than I am, though. If you're as dumb as I am, you got to keep everything simple, clean, as few changes as possible, Julia. I mean, we can't.
Life it isn't that way.
It's the show. When this show starts, it's, last night, I spent 4 or 5 hours each evening before putting the show together to the extent I can.
Right.
And then I'm in the studio at 7:20 in the morning.
Right.
And if one thing happens, like your door is locked, which it was today, I went up to get Julia because her morning person now is leaving early and not bringing her down for the show. And I go up the elevator and the door was locked. So poor old Julia is trying to get her wheelchair from one end of her living room over to the elevator door to let me in. Meanwhile, I'm in the elevator for 5 minutes while Julia is slowly moving across. I'm saying, Julia, every minute counts. I still got to go down, go to hair and makeup, and we got to punch some buttons and get us. Okay, I'm ranting.
Patience.
Blake, patience. I don't have, that is my greatest strength and my greatest weakness. I have no patience. I have friends from Wayzata Yacht Club who are leaving Saturday to head to Antigua for the big race week there. Well, it's just this time of year in the Med.
I love that race week
not
in
so
Antigua.
Great, but in the Caribbean, it's fabulous. You were saying, sorry?
I love the Antigua race week.
Well, who doesn't? It's fabulous stuff. So there is the race course for the RORC Caribbean 600. I'll show it to you in a graphic here in a second. Yesterday was the start of the 16th edition of the RORC's. This is the 100th anniversary, 100th year of the RORC. So they're having quite a big year, and we're going to celebrate it along with them all year long. And that's one of the reasons we have Andrew McIrvin coming on this Friday. He, a long-serving and former admiral of the RORC.
Right.
He'll be with us. And we have a really nice video, the kickoff video from the start yesterday of this 600, give or take, nautical mile race.
Yeah, well, we're about to race on a 600-mile offshore Caribbean around the island.
It's my Mark, the crew, just said it's sunny and a chance of racing fast.
I tell my crew every time we get on board, we're going to send it. So that's what we're doing today.
We're a bit over the deadline to go out, so a bit nervous.
God, what is the time?
8:30.
Half past 8. 2.5 hours until the start of the race.
A very warm welcome to you wherever you are in the world from Fort Charlotte, Antigua, for the start of the 2025 RORC Caribbean 600. We have got picture-perfect conditions, 17 knots from the east, and glorious tropical sunshine.
All competitors in the Caribbean 600 race, this is Ocean 1, good morning. The ODM is in position and can be pinged. This is Ocean 106. Have a great race.
Thoughts and dreams, feelings that I need here.
Fantastic video. That's a great video. Rock and Roll Joe Holtzman sang, Clay Demblay. Everybody is talking about what a great video that is. And by the way, Claire Harrington's asking, because I know New York's working on their audio-visual setup for the coming year and years. Great video. Which outfit did it? Does anyone know who did that? Did they produce that somehow in-house? Louis, what's his name? Habib? Too bad it's not a photogenic venue, eh? Blake Middle. Yeah, right. Spectacular sailing, Alistair Murray. Indeed. And I don't know who did it. Maybe somebody does. Mark Husted said he's in Sweden. He should be in bed. Well, come on. It's not even 11 o'clock yet there, is it? It's only 22:58. But he gets up early. You know, he's a baker. He gets up very early.
Does he?
Mark Husted in Göteborg, Sweden. An Aussie living up there. He gets up early to go fix the croissant and the Danish pastry.
Ooh,
I say? They probably don't call them Danish pastry in Sweden. They probably don't.
Croissant.
Well, as you may have seen, Lucky, if you've been watching the race at all, Lucky has been leading. That's Brian Earhart's 1K88, New York Yacht Club member. I believe he lives in Chicago. I think he may even be a Chicago Yacht Club member as well as a New York Yacht Club member. But he led, at least in the first to finish, and was last time I checked. I'll go look live on the racetracker in a moment. But the 16th edition of the RORC Caribbean 600 started yesterday. Starting and finishing in Antigua, the classic Royal Ocean Racing Club's nonstop 600 nautical mile race goes around 11, count them, 11 Caribbean islands. The RORC is truly, the 600 rather, is truly an international affair with over 600 sailors. And you can bet that the local economy really loves having this race, with over 600 sailors taking part from over 32 different countries. And bravo Zulu to the RORC for putting in the number of boats, the number of sailors, and the number of countries, so that I don't have to go through and go to the, it just drives me crazy when you can't find that in their PR of a regatta. The first warning signal sounded at Fort Charlotte for an epic race featuring a highly competitive and varied fleet of IRC offshore boats, Class 40s, and multi-hulls. Somebody said in the comments, no big multi-hulls this year, but they do have some smaller ones. And Gordon Smith says Wienerbrot was the producer. You mean they're the producer, Gordon? Great video is a wonderful way to sell the sport, indeed. Wiener, do you see that name there? Wienerbrot.
Yep.
Wienerbro with a, so it's scanned
hot dog bun.
Is that what that means? Brot. It does sound like that. One, is that Danish or is that Swedish? One watches this such a beautiful video and thinks the AC is the best we can do. Håkan Håkansson.
I agree.
Is saying, you do agree, don't you? Okay, so here's the race course again. And here's where they are on the race course. I grabbed this screen grab from a couple, almost 3 hours ago now. Oh, Wienerbrot is what we call Danish pastry. So that's not the name of the production company. Okay, Gordon, thank you for that. There's the race course. Lucky had already completed. They were first around the buoy that's south of Guadalupe. And I will now cut over here to the race tracker live and show you. They're all, have I cut to that? Yeah, there we go. I'm going to go back, cut to that. Here we go. That's them all starting out in Antigua there in Fort Charlotte, and they go out for the start, and they go up, as we showed you the other day, to that windward. It's normally a windward mark, but not necessarily. Around this buoy, up around Anguilla, and then down past Montserrat. And Lucky there is the leader. I think Paiwaka was in third. I saw a picture off their boat as they were approaching Montserrat earlier today. And then they go down around Guadalupe, and then back up past Antigua and Barbuda. And that is as far as they've gotten so far, right there. Mm-hmm. And that's Lucky, I believe, still in the lead, as you can see there. Mm-hmm. So they still have to go up and around and do that big triangle and then back. Bullet had to pull out, as you see, they're parked in Fort Charlotte. You probably see that. And that's all I know. I haven't heard from anybody there. They're a day into the race now, a day and change. Still looks like Lucky is leading. Yes, Commodore Harrington. Indeed, lots of boys out of Scandinavia are racing. Well, you know what this reminds me of, Julia? In the Formula One world, the first race was in Melbourne in March, usually the first weekend of March. And we're all living in Europe. And it's the end of a long, usually cold, on and off winter, or gray in Hamburg, Germany, where I was living. And you would finally fly off to Melbourne, and it's beautiful, sunny, summery Australia, fabulous city, fabulous race track there at Albert Park. And it was such a welcome event. And it's the same for most of the people who are coming from Europe or from North America to get into the Caribbean and have the sunshine and the warmth and the beautiful breeze. Yeah, champagne conditions. I hate that expression. Andy Rose and I both hate. But man, oh man, just fantastic start. And they got all four fleets off yesterday in grand style, no problem at all. And bravo Zulu to the race, to the organizers, and of course to the Royal Ocean Racing Club, as we said at the top of the show, celebrating their 100th year. That is their storied clubhouse, including where umpiring was, where I had to go over and take tea there with Mary Para at the RORC London clubhouse after I had proposed umpiring at a IYRU meeting in 1987, I guess it was. And Mary Para, who's long gone, but was a superb offshore navigator and a rules maven expert on the rules committee for years, and an RORC member, one of the first female RORC members. And she said, well, come over and take tea with me at the RORC and tell me about this after I'd given this long presentation and she blessed it. And with her blessing, after the tea we had there in front of that, the window up there on the third floor.
Yeah.
And what a fantastic spot that is in St. James
Very
Place,
handsome.
the RORC's London clubhouse. But according to, I've not seen it, but the newly redone clubhouse at Cowes on the parade there on the Isle of Wight, Magnus the Magnificent sent us some pictures that I ran on the show not too long ago of their clubhouse on the Isle of Wight. And apparently it's just spectacular. And certainly his picture showed that. Yeah, Hawkins saying, also an open bar. You know, Julia, at the RORC in St. James Place, and other clubs do the same, but not many.
Yeah.
Bar's open.
Yeah.
And, there will be a bartender there to help serve drinks earlier in the evening, but at a certain moment, he or she goes home, the tab is there, and it's an honor bar.
Right.
You fix yourself a drink, you grab a beer, you write your name down on the tab, and away you go.
Yeah.
Which leads to more drinking, more partying, and I can attest to late nights playing the guitar, and singing ditties and otherwise.
Yeah,
a few ditties. What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do
with the drunken sailor?
And my father was the keeper of the Eddystone Light and slept with the mermaids one fine night. It would go on and on and on, especially when the bar was open. Look at the video that they've just, a fairly new video promoting, among other things, but primarily the clubhouse, the RORC's clubhouse, remodeled clubhouse. Every club needs a video like that, with or without the Crutonic music. They could have done some nice jazz there, Julie. You could have conjured up something from Dave Brubeck or something, but still, it's got to be young, too. Alan Long says I'm a classical. I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Husted's got to leave. Have fun, Fozy, and wishing Ryman is it Ryman's birthday? Did we miss Ted Ryman's birthday? Our Fozy in Cape Town? But in it, this video, bravo Zulu to them. It looks like a fun spot, and it communicates, Julia, our sport and the fun you have. I mean, wouldn't you want to join that club immediately?
Absolutely.
I would too if I weren't. They probably wouldn't let me in, but that's.
I'm going to say they wouldn't let me in.
Well, they'll let you in.
No,
since you have a private jet, how many club members do you think have a private jet?
Most of them.
But if I weren't a member of so many other clubs, I would join. The Royal Ocean Racing Club, bravo Zulu to them, their 100th year. We'll continue to celebrate them throughout the year. And again, we have Mr. Dr. Andrew McIrvin coming on this coming Friday on our show. Yes, Ted is 21 again today. Happy birthday to Ted Ryman. I wish we'd known that. We would. I'm going to, what I'll do, Julia? I'm going to put happy birthday on one of our sound pads here on the soundboard so that when we find out about a birthday, and I'll have a slide so we could quickly do a happy birthday to somebody like Ryman, age 21.
Well, but wasn't his birthday several weeks ago?
Not that I know of.
I remember wishing him a happy birthday, and not recently.
They're all confirming it. Okay, RORC, bravo Zulu to you. Julia, what happened on this day in history? This is a good one, too.
25th of February.
1951.
51.
No, St. Francis Yacht Club and San Francisco Yacht, and they do not. Royal Hong Kong They do not have an open bar. Friday is Ted's 20th birthday, just saying, Rick Bannerow. Okay, maybe we'll celebrate on Friday. Julia, what happened on this day in 1951? Here's your first clue. Does anybody know? Any of our foes know? Oh, Ryman says it is today. He's in the comments.
Oh, well then happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Ted. Shall I go
Yes.
get the banjo and we'll sing happy birthday to Ted?
Sure.
I don't think so. Claire Harrington would make fun of me if I played the banjo
Yes, she would.
on the show. There's your first clue. There's your second clue. Buenos Aires, 1951.
Pan American Games.
Right, Los Juegos Deportivos, the sporting games of the Pan Americans. The first Pan Am Games are officially opened in Buenos Aires. Right, well done. No, that's not the LA Coliseum. It is whatever that stadium was called, or maybe still is called, in Argentina, where the first Pan Am Games were hosted in 1951. By the way, some sources say that that was the first such continental games, but that same year the Asian Games took place for the first time. And the Commonwealth Games, the UK, the Empire, they used to be called the Empire Games, by the way.
Oh.
The Commonwealth Games started in 1930 from memory. Not that I was around then, but I'd be reading about it.
Yes.
And they would predate this, but they're not exactly continental games. They were to promote and glue together the British Empire.
Right.
Commonwealth Games, and still do. It's quite a successful event. So that's what happened on this day. Here's a quick video about just that.
On this day in 1951, the very first Pan American Games opened in Buenos Aires, Argentina, with President Juan Perón delivering an inspiring speech to thousands in attendance. This event brought together 213 athletes from 14 nations, embarking on an international sports celebration that would continue to grow. The Games featured 18 sports and offered an opportunity for athletes to compete for gold, silver, and bronze medals. Nations showcased their sports talents, and the excitement grew as the competitions began on February 25th. With everything organized by the newly formed Pan American Sports Organization, the event aimed to strengthen ties among the countries of the Americas. Over the years, the Pan American Games have become a significant sporting tradition, held every 4 years, sharing a close relationship with the Olympic Games.
Okay, enough
Since
of
its
all
inception,
that.
Pan
It goes
American
on,
Games
but we don't need to see much more than that, do we, Julia?
No, it was good.
Okay.
Conrad was there.
That year? I was at one point, sailing was involved. In fact, sailing was at that event. Here they are. There's the list of sports, athletics through wrestling. And of course, there are a lot of continental games now. The Asian Games we mentioned, the African Games, the European. Actually, there's two different European games. The Commonwealth Games, which is not exactly continental. And there's the Oceanic. Is it called Oceanic Games? Oceania Games? And sailing is involved. The first such event in 1951, the classes were the Snipe and the Star. Argentina and Brazil finished 1-2 in the Snipe class, and the order was reversed for the Stars. The U.S. did not compete.
Shame on them.
In the regatta. So it was the Brazilians and the Argentinians who dominated. They didn't even award a bronze medal. There must not have been too many boats there for that event. In 1951, this day in history, the 25th of Feb, 1951, there is an organization now called PAO. Sounds like a scandal. Pan American Yachting Organization, of which I was the first Secretary General.
Congratulations.
That and 385 doesn't get you a Starbucks these days.
I'm looking at Jorge Brower and wondering how he's related to Cole.
Maybe not. A pretty common name.
Yeah.
I only remember how the spear throwing event was won by the Argentinians. Stingray. Okay, that's this day in history. Here's the America's Cup report. I thought you would all enjoy this.
Oh, yes. Understood.
Okay.
Yep.
Anything else, Julia, on the America's Cup?
No.
I mean, when I get nothing from Stingray about the America's Cup on a Monday or Tuesday, you know it's a quiet time, a slow time for the Cup. So there is your AC-38 Cup date. Okay, I kid you not. Enough of the crickets, okay?
Yes.
That gets us to the last leg. We're an hour and 15 minutes in. Who won the spear catching competition? Probably Hanoi Jane. I don't know about that, Julia.
No.
Huh?
Shame.
Oh, well, she's making news again.
I know.
The last leg is I've truncated a video, an interview that's a cool interview. It's on YouTube. Maybe I'll play, I don't know, maybe play the second half of it on Friday, maybe not. You all can go onto YouTube, find this. It's a video by, his name's Crosby Lorimer, who is an Aussie. He runs Bowcatty Media, and he interviewed the two ladies dockside. They got, I don't think they'd been ashore, excuse me, that's the brittles in my throat now, Julia.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Elizabeth and Cole had been back all that long. This was from about 3 days ago. And maybe they'd just gotten ashore because he, among many others, escorted them into the harbor, through around the heads and into the harbor.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he grabbed them dockside after they had had a burger and maybe a non-alcoholic beer and whatever else.
Yep.
But here is that nice interview by
Hello, we're at
him.
Middle Harbour Yacht Club with Liz Tucker and Cole Brower, who've just completed their trip from Spain. Congratulations, you two. That's a mighty effort. Man, you got a good reception in Sydney Harbour, didn't you, this morning? That was fantastic. You had a bit of everything, haven't you? You've had fish trap collisions, food poisoning, Sahara sandstorms, even a set of headphones. Your favourite headphones have gone wrong.
Yes.
Oh,
yeah, they died.
Both of them, right?
My Sonys, they got waterlogged.
Oh, I remember that because I picked
Yeah.
them up and I
So
handed
Yeah.
them to you.
So this is a really important part of our journey, isn't it?
It is. I remember it quite clearly.
Oh, it was so sad.
So coming back to the thing itself, that is quite an adventure in the best of times, in a 40-footer. That's even more so. Even just at this very first moment, how are you feeling about it? Cole, maybe start with you.
I'm feeling great. I got an Aperol Spritz. I've got a burger in my belly. And yeah, I think it's interesting because a year ago I was finishing my race. And I feel like this is actually quite nice because I can step back a little bit and actually view what it was like to finish my race. Because when I finished, I just didn't take the moment. It all happened really fast. And now I feel like I can actually truly appreciate it.
So one chapter closing, another one opening. Liz, for you, how are you feeling at the moment?
Well, I'm definitely in that it's sort of surreal and everything's, just trying to take it in. But I think I'm probably feeling how Cole was when she finished her race. Bit tired and just, it's sort of like watching things happen and being pulled every way, but amazing and and like you said, what a reception! Like everybody coming out, it was incredible. Every boat I looked at was somebody else that I knew, and it was just so lovely to see everybody out there. Just fantastic.
It's a great boat, but the two of you add some real personality to it. Cole, you sort of set the example, and I think Liz is a very good disciple there following on. We were talking earlier this morning about the importance of actually sort of socialising offshore sailing for people who have never been out to sea, may not even have sailed. Liz, for you, Cole, you experienced a lot of that, and you added a lot to a lot of people's lives. What about for you, Liz? How's that sort of played out with all the fandom that's been following you two?
I think part of it is a little bit mad, but what I really like is showing sailing to people who wouldn't otherwise see sailing, certainly sail racing. People think of sailing of sort of the cruising around piece, and obviously racing is really quite different. It's very intense, and we show that a little bit, not too much, because I think it can be fun. And that's the thing, is that you don't have to be absolutely exhausted and completely miserable, damp, skin peeling. It does happen, and definitely if you look at the videos of me coming into Hobart and Cole, but definitely me, I think you fared better on those interviews. I looked atrocious. I basically was falling asleep on the dock.
I'm just used to it. Okay. I'm just used to it.
I think, when you go for 4 days with very little sleep, that tends to show.
Yes.
But the fun side is still to be had. There's still a lot of time to have fun. And sailing, we all love. It's such a great community, and to try and show that to other people and maybe get more people into the sport, just priceless to me.
Yeah, I think that's the point. And I let that run a little longer, as you could see from the counter there at the timer in the lower left corner. But several of you are saying how cool both of them are. Do you think Cole's got an Aussie accent?
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
You think so?
It's easy to do.
You see that in the comments?
Yeah.
Looking forward to watching Elizabeth's escapades. Yeah, and I'm looking forward to seeing Cole when she does her hookup with our German friend doing the Fastnet and beyond. They're going to do the next, not the Vendée Globe, they're going to do the round the world race.
Yeah.
The ocean race. What else here? Comments. I followed Cole and Elizabeth, Blake is saying, for their full delivery from Spain to Oz. Spectacular coverage, just like Cole's race. Ryman, happy birthday again, Ted. Those two girls are great. Cole is cool, and Liz turns out to be a bit of a legend as well. He was following their videos. So, and I told you this on the show a couple, 3 days ago that you look up at the, how is it still on the slide? Andrew, Dolly DeVola actually skippered the media boat and had Crosby Lorimer out there. And it was not a very nice day, but you know, that's sailing. So thanks to Crosby Lorimer from Australia Bowcatty Media for that interview. And as I say, it's a longer interview if you want to go onto his YouTube channel, Bowcatty Media, or I'm not sure what it's called, but just Google one or the other and it'll pop right up. Okay, Julie, that's pretty much it for 811, except for the D block and your favorite character here.
Ah, yes.
And our Whiskey Tango Foxtrot segment. And a little political commentary to start with.
Yes.
This could be a caption contest. You know what that is?
A beaver.
It is a beaver. What's it doing?
Building a dam.
Close. Caption contest for this photo was sent to us by one of our FOSI. Canada begins construction on a wall at the Canada-U.S. border. Come on, Julia. That's funny, don't you think?
Yes.
You gotta have a laugh about politics. Not take it too seriously. We don't take ourselves too seriously on this show.
No.
That came from Kip Gardner. Trudeau has lost his beaver again. Is that a finger wag? Yeah, that was the fuzzy Fozzie, Rick Banner. He should know about beavers. Trudeau, oh, did I say that? Chris,
That's
nice
for you.
Building a wall. Gratuitous beaver shot. Pindar. Oh my goodness, you guys are terrible. Building a wall, the beavers are wild. And we'll make the Americans pay for it. Clark Chapin, that's pretty good. That was really good, Clark. Yep, Canada begins construction on the wall at the Canada-U.S. border. That courtesy of Kip Gardner who sent that. It got a lot of play.
Yeah.
That's pretty good, Kip. Thank you. This one's clean, Julia, but I look at it. And this could have been a caption contest, or it could have been correct or Curtonic. Look at that.
Yeah.
And this is legit. This guy is either a taxi driver or an Uber driver, and he's Russian. And is there a better name for a Russian Uber driver? Pick up on drop off. Pick up and drop off.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Come on.
Yes.
Clean.
I didn't get that on first reading, and that was good.
And guess who sent that? Birthday boy. It's clean.
I was
When it
going to
comes
say,
from
sounds
Ryman,
like 10 Ryman.
when it's clean, though.
Yeah.
Okay, now back to sailing. We got to get to sailing. This came in, actually, from Greg Phillips. The loudest sounds on Earth. Somebody's done some photoshopping on this. Concert speakers, no. Fireworks getting louder. Gunfire getting louder. Blue whale. I didn't know blue whales were that loud. The space shuttle, yeah, it's loud. Sailors yelling, starboard! That's pretty good.
Black Collar did that just for kicks anytime.
Well, and sometimes, that's an interesting question. I'll ask Clark Chapin. If you yell starboard, but you're really on port, can you get penalized for that?
I'm sure you can, but I mean...
For a fraudulent hail. For unsportsmanlike conduct. Starboard! And you're really on port tack.
Yeah.
You'd have to show that it was, I think, malicious and purposeful. Because you might just be confused. I mean, I've for sure probably shouted starboard a few times when I was on port tack, but not on purpose, not to confuse the competition. Pick up and drop off was the staff driver on Car Talk about 40 years ago. the official chauffeur. There's all sorts of jokes. Rule 69. Yes, it's a Rule 2 violation. Clark Chapin says it, confirming. You cannot be on port tack and yell starboard if it's shown to be purposeful to mislead your competition.
I want Clark Chapin on my side.
Well, you would. Clark's very smart, especially about the rules, but about
Yes.
a lot of things. That gets us to the finish line. And Julia, you like to say?
Yes. Don't miss the opportunity to like, follow, and share.
And then I like to say comments are welcome, even in replay, because many more of you actually watch it in replay than you do live. We're appreciative of all of you. Just remember, no croutonic comments, because Julia checks.
I do.
Goes back and reads the comments to be sure nobody does lowers themselves to name calling, personal attacks, or coarse language. What if you identify as starboard Penrose? Well, then maybe you can call starboard if you identify. Good work today, Fozy. Yeah, this is always about the Fozy. John Collings, who's down in Melbourne, that beautiful show. Thanks, Clay Embley. Thank you for your bourbon brittle.
Mm-hmm.
One more plug for the bourbon. Well, there's a lot left, Julia. Bourbon brittle.
Yep.
Maybe we can melt that and make it sticky. This is yours.
No, it's yours.
No, it's yours.
No.
Yeah, it's all for you.
Oh.
It's for you.
You have to protect my teeth.
Well, I can really bellow starboard, Steve Atkins, Commodore Atkins is saying. Thanks to all of you who do support us. As I say, we only use the money that you send us for keeping us on the air, for streaming costs and equipment costs here for our beautiful Studio B in the Marina District here in San Francisco. Somebody asked me the other day, are you living in San Diego or San Francisco? I said, do you watch and it was somebody who watches the show regularly.
Yeah.
I said, well, I'm back and forth, but bloody hell, the studio's in San Francisco.
Yes.
In the Marina District. As
Yes.
Peter Stevenson knows, he's visited
Yes, he
the
has.
studio. He sat here in this chair. He's one of the only.
He just aimed right at it,
He
too.
did. I got up to go do something, and he went right over here to the chair, sat right here, and he started pushing buttons and giving the finger wag. He was hilarious. I wish I had a video of that. Everyone take care. Yeah, add it to the chowder. Yeah. Thanks for your support, those of you who are supporting us via Patreon or otherwise just sending us a check. And thanks to everybody who lets us have audio, video, or doesn't even know that we've taken your audio, video, and images for today's show, which is always a long list of various sources and folks and outlets, including WPRI TV. Josh Tozo knows that station. Claire Harrington will know. Claire Ferguson will too. WPR TV in Providence. Thanks, everybody. Remember, on Friday, we have Mr. Doctor joining us for his update on all things offshore and maybe medical. Maybe we'll quiz him, too, about the latest on, who knows, COVID and anything else. And then on the following week, we have on the 4th, we have Dolly coming on, Dolly DeVola, who will give us a preview the JJ that starts that following weekend.
Wish Ted Ryman a birthday on our way out.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Ted. Happy birthday. You stay on the melody and I'll sing the harmony. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Okay. No banjo.
Oh, gosh, no. Maybe it would have helped.
Maybe not. Thanks, everybody. Have a great rest of your week. We'll see you on Friday, same time, same channel. In the meantime, sail fast, sail safe, have fun. Ciao for now.